On June 16th, the world woke up to an unexpected headline. A Russian IL-96-300 lifted off from Vnukovo Airport, crossed neutral airspace, and continued all the way to New York. Yes, New York. It's no surprise this unusual flight instantly became a viral topic in global news and across social media. In an era of sanctions, political isolation, and intense technological rivalry, the idea of a Russian aircraft, often labeled outdated, flying freely over American territory feels almost unbelievable. So what made this IL-96-300 capable of doing something many thought impossible? And why has this aircraft suddenly stepped back into the spotlight? Let's break it down in today's video. According to Russia's Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova, nothing secretive was involved. It was simply the annual transport flight, returning diplomats home and rotating staff posted in the United States. Yet even though this operation happens every year, this particular flight carried unusual symbolic weight. In a world shaped by sanctions and political tension, the IL-96 has become a visible example of Russia's consistency, resilience, and diplomatic presence. But why is Russia still using an aircraft designed in the late 1980s when modern aviation is dominated by the Boeing 787 and Airbus A350? The answer comes down to two major strengths: long-range capability and full technological independence. The IL-96 can fly over 12,000 kilometers, farther than a Boeing 777-200, which reaches about 10,900 kilometers. Its four PS-90A engines allow it to choose flexible and remote routes across harsh regions like the Arctic and Central Asia without compromising safety. The June 2025 mission demonstrated this clearly. Even without friendly stopovers in Europe, the IL-96 made a smooth, uninterrupted trip across the ocean. Most importantly, the aircraft is 100% Russian. Engines, avionics, structure, everything. And while Boeing and Airbus have stopped supplying parts, grounding a large portion of Russia's Western-built fleet, the IL-96 remains completely unaffected by sanctions. Many Russians proudly call it flying with our own hands. It's actually going through a significant revival with modern technology. At the center of this effort is the PD-35 engine, a major strategic program launched in 2016 as Russia's answer to the huge engines used on the West's largest jets. The PD-35 produces up to 35 tons of thrust, similar to the GE-90 on the Boeing 777. And includes advanced features such as 3D printed turbine components and lightweight carbon fiber fan blades. Although the program slowed to prioritize medium-range engines, prototypes have already been built and successfully tested. This opens the door for future IL-96 versions that could compete with aircraft like the Boeing 777. Alongside the engine upgrades, Russia is developing the IL-96-400M, a heavily modernized version now moving towards serial production. It has a fuselage extended by nearly 10 meters, seats for up to 436 passengers, redesigned wings with winglets, fully Russian avionics, fly-by-wire controls, and updated passenger features like satellite Wi-Fi and new entertainment systems. Its performance is expected to approach that of the Boeing 777. A major milestone for Russian aviation. The IL-96 also has strategic importance beyond commercial use. It forms the backbone of Russia's government fleet, especially the IL-96-300 which serves as the President's Airborne Command Center. These aircraft include conference rooms, offices, medical areas, and secure communications and defense systems, allowing them to operate as mobile headquarters during crises. There's also the cargo model, the IL-96-400T, with its 99-ton payload and long range. It has become increasingly important as Russia faces a shortage of Western-built freighters. With no access to Boeing 747Fs or Airbus A330Fs, the IL-96-400T is one of the few options left for long-distance logistics. Engineers are even considering specialized military variants, AWACS, tankers, and heavy-lift transports, giving the IL-96 the nickname, the civilian jet with a military backbone. Another major event in June 2025 put the IL-96 back in the global spotlight. Three IL-96s, RA-96023, RA-96010, and RA-96018, were spotted simultaneously in Anchorage, Alaska, at the Elmendorf-Richardson military base. Although neither Russia nor the United States confirmed the purpose, many analysts believe a high-level meeting was held on neutral ground, close to Russia geographically, but outside traditional diplomatic frameworks. Government aircraft are exempt from sanctions and can enter United States airspace through special agreements, which honestly highlights the importance of the moment. Seeing three IL-96s at a United States base at the same time is extremely rare and reflects the precision, coordination, and secrecy characteristic of Russian diplomatic operations. To understand the IL-96's place in the world today, we need to go back to the 1980s, when the Soviet Union set out to build a real rival to Boeing and Airbus. At that time, wide-body giants like the Boeing 747 and Airbus A310 dominated long-haul travel, so the Ilyushin Design Bureau began working on a new intercontinental fuel-efficient aircraft that could cross the Atlantic without depending on Western systems. After almost a decade of development, the first IL-96 took to the skies in 1988, one of the proudest moments in Soviet aviation. Although the USSR dissolved shortly afterward, the IL-96 still earned Russian certification in 1992 after more than 1,200 hours of test flights. It was a bittersweet achievement. The engineering was outstanding, but the commercial market was slipping away. The IL-96 introduced major advances for its time: triple redundant fly-by-wire controls, digital EFIS displays, composite materials, and engines that met international noise limits. In terms of performance, it stood shoulder to shoulder with Western jets of its era. But the turbulence of the early 1990s stopped it from reaching global success. Russian airlines were struggling financially, and Western buyers weren't lining up to purchase an airliner from the newly collapsed Soviet state. Instead of becoming a commercial icon like the Boeing 747, the IL-96 shifted into a political and strategic role. It became the official aircraft for Russian leaders and high-ranking officials, eventually evolving into airborne command center versions equipped with satellite links, meeting rooms, and medical facilities. Now, as foreign aerospace imports become a political flashpoint, the IL-96 has turned into something essential. It represents technological independence, proof that Russia can operate a long-range aviation industry without relying on Boeing or Airbus. Several non-Western countries, including Iran, Venezuela, and Cuba, have shown interest in the aircraft for exactly this reason: to avoid dependence on systems that can be restricted or weaponized. Looking ahead, Russia plans to adapt the IL-96 to a twin-engine design powered by the PD-35, potentially creating a future IL-96-400 PD variant aimed at competing with modern jets like the Boeing 787 and Airbus A350. Beyond its commercial ambitions, the project has become a symbol of industrial autonomy, a demonstration that Russia can still produce advanced, long-haul aircraft despite global constraints. For the Russian state, the IL-96 has grown into more than just transportation. It has become a national emblem. Every time an IL-96-300 PU rises into the sky with the state seal on its tail, it sends a message of self-reliance and determination. For the engineers behind it, the aircraft reflects a commitment to the technological heritage that once launched Sputnik and Soyuz, now carried forward into a challenging modern era. Western critics argue that the IL-96 is costly and less efficient than contemporary jets, but for Russia, efficiency isn't the main point. The IL-96 shows proficiency in one of the world's most demanding industries, something only a handful of nations can accomplish. In a time when politics and technology are tightly connected, the ability to build an intercontinental aircraft stands as a clear statement of national sovereignty. When you look at the IL-96's path, from the headline-making flight in June 2025 to the upgrades underway today, the picture becomes obvious. This is not an outdated airliner. It's a symbol of endurance, a challenge to its critics, and a reminder that Russia continues to move forward on wings of its own design. Every IL-96 flight carries more than just people or freight. It carries a message. We can still fly with our own hands. Thank you for watching. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our daily updates and special reports in air travels and aviation.